Hey, everybody, welcome to this Board Game Life episode number 88, titled Excited for 2025, or subtitled or secondary titled as Mark needs a new 3D printer, or a 3D printer, period. I am one of your fine hosts for today. My name is Rob. This is the show about gaming, board gaming, tabletop gaming, card gaming, and who knows whatever else you want to talk about. And as always, on top of all that, I'm my good buddy Mark.
Hey everybody, how you doing? We're back for the fourth time.
Yes, 2025.
This is our fourth podcast of the year.
It is. 2025 has gone off to a fantastic start, and it further solidifies after like 900 episodes, or how many ever that we've done so far, across all the different podcasts and all that good stuff. Every time it's still like the first time. We're still noobs.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Technology sucks, man. I hate computers.
Hey, at least Mr. Roboto is gone. That was a problem. Oh,
why'd you have to say that?
A long time ago, because this was akin to it, but this is like Mr. Echoado that we had. Anyway, new year, 2025 is upon us. 2024 is but a distant memory, and a lot of crazy stuff happened in 2024, of course. A lot of great gaming. Gen Con 2024 was pretty cool, as always. And actually, and you've got a big, so for those unaware, we did this Xbox podcast for many years. And in the Xbox land, there's achievements for doing certain things within the ecosystem, and then there's rare achievements. I think what you accomplished in 24 is a rare achievement.
Well, for me,
with your gaming, yeah. Well,
others not so much.
Yeah.
I've seen people with some pretty insane stats, but but yeah, so
you played a couple games, right?
Yeah, back in 2023.
It seems so long ago.
Yeah, I did like 380 something. I'm sorry. Yeah, 300 and I think 85 games or something like that played. So it was more than one a day, which I thought was insane. So I was like, okay, for 2024, I'm going to try to get to 400. And I actually pretty much obliterated that. And I don't know if you can see that, but 534 games played.
Wow.
In the year of 2024, with 194 different games. So it was 534 plays, 194 different games. 148 of those were brand new. Played on 209 days of the 365 in the year. For a total of 532 hours of board gaming.
So that's like playing every other day, almost.
It was a lot, and it was a great year. I got so much cool stuff in. I'm really excited to talk about what we played the last couple of weeks. I got some really cool new stuff in that has basically jumped to my top 10 list of all time. And I'm really excited to talk about what we want to play or what we're looking forward to in 2025. So this is going to be, I think, a really fun episode. And as they all are fun, right?
Exactly.
Because we're here.
Oh, exactly. Actually, this should count as like a gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Why not?
We get one of these out every other week. So, bump those numbers by 26?
There you go.
Approximately. Yeah. So
how do we determine who wins, though? That's the question. It's not so straightforward like when I just whooped your butt at Castles of Burgundy the other day.
A shared victory. But I do have to make a comment about that Castles of Burgundy. I was like really getting irritated at that game because I kept rolling double sixes. And when you roll double sixes in a row, I mean, then you got to start using up workers and getting workers, which is like forfeiting turns. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't want double sixes again because there's nothing on six anymore, or in the
Right.
six depot or whatever they call it. But yeah, the high rollers were with me, so it would have been good if I was, in some kind of dungeon crawler battling monsters or something. But yeah, no, that was a good game. That was a good game. Yeah, and it plays actually very well, I think, on BGA, Board Game Arena.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And then
it's not very pretty, but
yeah, I mean, it's true to the game, the original.
The original.
And I was going to make a comment, a little sideline comment. We also started a game of Finca, which is a fantastic game. Man, Finca turn by turn is like
brutal.
It's like Sobek. It's got that same problem of you do one, I'll call it like one tiny little move, and then you wait.
Yeah.
So it'd be better if you could do multiple things. So, like at least in Castles of Burgundy, you can select your dice, take something, place something on your duchy. You're doing a bunch of things all at once. So it's like you're doing your whole turn versus what seems to be like a tiny part of your turn. So yeah, Finca is best played live or consecutively instead of
yes,
play and wait.
Yeah, one thing I liked about like Draft and Write Records was
the
way they did it. Like you did your turn, but they had you take your next turn as well. Like you're doing almost like 2 turns on your turn.
Yep.
Except when you had to wait for, I don't remember how it worked out, but somehow like you were doing it like twice. And it just kind of helped speed it up. It was kind of an interesting way they did it. So yeah, Finca is a fantastic game. I love that game. I am not enjoying it through BGA. And again, like you said, it's just it needs to be played. We could play it through BGA like at the same time, like a live game.
Then be perfectly
then it'd be
fine. Yeah.
Yep. It's not a good turn by turn game.
Because you're sitting there like, what was I gonna do? And yeah, you can take notes, right? They got that little section where you can like write down what you're planning to do. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
No.
No. Not even a little bit. But anyway, all right, let's I'm excited to talk about what we're excited about for 2025. So that's the games that are coming out in the next 12 months, or at least we hope. You know how that goes. Sometimes things get pushed. But hey, if any of the things on our list get pushed, they'll probably be on our, what are we excited for 2026?
True.
If anything. But before we get to that, a couple things I want to mention. There's a dramatic pause.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes. Dramatic pause. Check out our YouTube channel. We've got a whole bunch of cool content on there. Number one, you can find this podcast on there. And then also there's a whole bunch of unboxings, playthroughs, and reviews that are on there. So definitely give that a shot. Mark's been doing a fantastic job with a lot of those. And then hopefully in the next couple months, maybe I'll get my studio back together. And I'll get some content out there from me as well. Well, actually,
I need to start doing a video review.
I was going to say there is content from me, but it's like from 7 years ago.
Hey, you got a comment on one of your videos from 8 years ago.
Yeah,
Someone made a comment on it the other day, and
Castaways. Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Hmm.
But I'm like, that's cool because we're getting, that means somebody that's new to the channel is looking at some of the content that you've done a long time
Hmm.
ago. So,
Oh heck yeah. Yeah, because
so
that was on the Castaways game, also called Naufragos or something like that.
yeah.
Um, and that game had a really funky setup to it. It had this massive deck of cards, and it really didn't make sense. So I think I had like a 40-minute video on just how to set it up.
Oh wow.
And that was like the go-to video for a long time. If you if you wanted to just get an explanation of how to set it up without losing your mind and having to struggle through it yourself, that was the go-to one. And so yeah, it got a lot of traffic. But yeah, so I can say there is content from both of us, fresh content from you, and you see the youthful Rob from days past.
Yeah. Well, that should
But
be your resolution. Get that studio up and running, and we'll get some fresh content from you.
that sounds good.
And what would be awesome, I think, is if we could get to the point where we're playing some of these games, some of these newer games. We're able to play them around the same time, so we could get on and do a dual review and share
Oh
our
yeah.
thoughts together. That would be really cool. So,
Oh heck yeah. Absolutely.
but
Yeah, we
so
should yeah, we'll talk offline about that. We should coordinate that kind of stuff a
yeah,
little bit
that'd be
better. Yeah,
fun.
yeah, we're new to this stuff. Only like 900 episodes later. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, here let's get rolling. So we can finish this.
rolling.
Yeah, so we can finish this before it's 2026 and this
Yeah.
list is outdated. But
Yeah, you're cutting into my game day, buddy. I got a lot of gaming
that's
lined up with
oh
different people
that's
today,
right.
so woohoo!
Yeah, so
I'm excited.
we gotta get rolling. That maybe that's a good way to segue into what we've been playing. What have you been playing? A couple, two, three things.
Oh, I thought you would never ask.
Yes, yes.
I'm starting out big, baby. This is a game that I have been waiting for, a game that I have demoed at Gen Con, and a game that I said when I demoed it at Gen Con, I came out and told you and Franco, I am not getting this game. It's too hard. And
And I
then,
remember that.
yeah, because you made a comment to me yesterday when we were talking, and you're like, okay, so why'd you end up getting it, or what changes your mind? But at Gen Con, I demoed SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence by Czech Games Edition. Did the 2-hour demo with them. It was not a teaching session. It was here's the game. We're going to walk you. It's all prepped, ready to go. They don't really teach it. They kind of do excuse me, the first 2 rounds, I guess, and kind of explaining as they go. And they're like, here, and everybody's hand is like already preset. And the guy knows, he's got this staged essentially.
Yeah, it's coordinated.
Coordinated, that's
yeah,
a good
yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
And so you play it, and then they kind of leave you to continue playing with the other people at the table. And I'm sorry, I've got like this dry cough today. It's driving me nuts.
You're just so like
I'm so excited to talk about the
yeah,
games.
exactly. Yeah.
So I ended up, but the thing is like the theme. I really liked the theme. I really liked what the game was doing, and I was like, okay, I played it once, didn't really get a teach. It was a demo, and it seemed a little like there's so much going on in this game that it just seemed overwhelming. But I'm like, you know what? I'm playing some more heavier medium games, some light heavy games, and I'm starting to kind of, like Rob says, I need to grow up. I need to put my big boy pants on and start playing some real games and put the Uno and the Monopoly down. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to get it anyways. I'm going to just buy it. I'm going to make myself learn it. So it arrived this week. I busted it out. I did an unboxing that day, recorded that, posted on our YouTube, and then I also sat down. I'm going to learn this because the next day was game day. Game day with my group, and I'm like, I'm going to learn this tonight. So I sat down, put it all out, set up like a 2-player game, and I was just going to control both players. That's how I like to learn a new game. And I was like, I wasn't planning on recording it, but I decided, why not? I'll just run the camera while I'm sitting here doing this. It turned out to be a 3-hour playthrough. If you want to watch that, you're welcome to check that out as well. And what I discovered is the game is it's not that hard to learn, actually. It is very overwhelming. It's got an amazing table presence. There's a bit of setup there, especially the first time. You're just like, you're spending a little bit of time setting everything up the first time. Once you have it, I found when I did it with my group the following day, it didn't take as long to set up because I knew what I was doing, how everything went. But I think the most overwhelming part of this game is the iconography, but the rule book is probably the best rule book I have ever seen.
Really?
And it's just the way it's divided. They've got more just beautiful pictures. There's not a, it's like there's more visuals than there are words in the rule book. And I just, whoever did this rule book was like a genius. They just made everything very easy to find. You'll see in the 3 hours as I'm like doing things like, oh, what does this mean? It's very easy to find in the rule book. How things work and explanation of cards. And it just, once you kind of go through one game, you might still have questions around iconography, stuff like that. But I was just really impressed. It's not, and once I did that 3-hour playthrough that I was recording, I was like, this is not that bad. And like when I went the next day, I taught 2 other people that had never played it. I taught them how to play the game. And it wasn't, and again, a couple times I had to go to the book just to verify something. But I was like, once you kind of get an idea and understand there's a lot to the game, but there's not a lot to the game, if that makes any sense, which it doesn't.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of choices. Like, you will not be doing everything in this game, but there's a lot of ways to accomplish your goals. What's not overdone is you're taking one main action every turn. You're either going to launch a probe, or you're going to do a scan, or you're going to orbit a planet, or you are going to land on a planet, or you're going to research tech. I think that's the 5. There might, or analyze data. Okay. There's like 6 things that you can do. You're going to do one of those on your turn. That's it. Then you have some free actions that you can take unlimited, like exchanging 2 coins for an energy, or 2 energy for a coin, right? You can swap your resources. You can sell off cards to use another action, and the cards have a lot going on them. There's a lot on the cards. So that can be overwhelming and trying to learn how the cards, but once you understand the anatomy of the card, and you've got this amazing, it's a 4-page basically, this cardboard sheet that you basically fold in half, and it's, there's 4 pages of iconography and explanation. But once you go through and you're using that, the game kind of becomes like, oh, this really makes sense. And all your moves and everything you're doing in the game makes sense. Like, to me, I understand why I'm doing a scan, or why I'm sending a probe, or what's the difference between orbiting a planet or landing on the planet. And everything is on the board. It's and there's a lot of iconography, but like I said, once you play and you've done something, it's like, okay, I know what this means every time. It's really not as overwhelming as it seems at first. And the game is really, really fun. So I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to play it again. I've got so I played with 2 people on game night. One of them, she bought the game, hadn't learned it yet. and she really liked the game. She really enjoyed it. She was happy because she didn't have to go through the learn. She's like, so I taught her how to play. But she really liked it. And then the other guy, he liked it. His only thought was it was too long of a game. But he was even telling me overall, he feels like a lot of games are longer these days, and he really prefers shorter experiences. So he liked the game. He just thought it was too long. Our game took us about little over 3 hours, I think, 3.5.
Okay.
So me teaching 2 people, 3 of us playing, and they say 40 minutes per player. So, and then we had to teach on top of it. So yeah, it was a bit long.
Yeah, so you figure adding another half hour per person.
Especially for your first game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I had to set it up too on top of it. So we probably played in about 3 hours total time. But excellent game. SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. We talked about me kicking your butt at Castles of Burgundy. I know you're blaming the dice, but just admit I'm a better player.
I'm accepting my, well, I don't know about that, but I'm accepting my victory. I'm just annoyed at all the 6s I kept rolling.
So yeah, Rob and I played Castles of Burgundy via BGA. Really enjoy that. I also played a new game. It's actually sitting here next to me. This tiny little box game. This is, I think they call these tiny box. Yeah, they're tiny box game from All Play. They're putting out a bunch of these. So I got Rainbow for free as part of my kickstarting
All Play
River Valley Glassworks.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this was like $7 or something. I was like, I'll pick this up.
Yeah, nine. I think
$9. Okay.
Yeah, 9 is their normal price.
So I got it for like $9. Yeah. It's a trick taker game. Not much into trick taking, but this one I kind of like, and I think a lot of people. You probably will see mixed reviews on Prey. I guess I should have said Prey. I'm showing it into the camera. Here's what I'm playing, and I didn't say it for those listening on audio. But I think so. The guy that was talking about at my game night that he likes smaller games, loves trick taking. That's his forte, his familia. And this game, he was telling me, he's like, I've heard some very mixed things. And you get these cards that everybody puts out, and there's a side that says a 0, and when you win a round, you flip it over, so you have a 1. Well, and then so all you have to do is win two tricks to win the game. But the difference with this is there's dice, and every player gets 2 dice. You roll them at the start of your turn. It cannot be, you can't roll doubles. So if you roll doubles, you have to re-roll. And so you got to get 2 different numbers, and then you place those dice on your little card, and that tells you how many tricks you need to take. And I think that's where a lot of people in a trick-taking world don't like it, because you might have a hand where like, dude, I can take 10 tricks out of these 12 cards, but your dice might say 1 and 2, so it means you can only take 1 trick or 2 tricks. That's it. So now you have to try to slough everything off if possible. So it's totally random on the dice roll, but I really like it. I feel like for someone who's not a big trick taker enjoyer, I feel like I have a better shot, because everyone's like, they may have a bunch of cards but they're probably going to have to slough a bunch if they've rolled low numbers. And myself, I'm like, okay, I might be able to get my 6 that I have to get, or 5 or whatever. So I really kind of like the way that this game kind of works. The other thing about Prey is everyone's going to get, 12 cards, and the cards have there's 2 numbers on it. There's 2 sides. So you've got what they call the Predator, and it'll take up majority of the card, maybe 2/3 of the card is the Predator, and then you'll flip the card on the other way after 6 rounds, and now you're on the Prey side, and they have a different number. So everyone's going to be on the Predator side till the 6th round, till the 6th trick is taken. Then everyone flips their cards, and now you're playing on the Prey side, which now you have different set of numbers. So It plays quick. It really is a quick game, and I kind of like it. I'm looking forward to playing it. I did a just kind of a playthrough here on my own where I was like just playing out as 4 people, just kind of learning the game, and I liked it. So that'll be introduced to my group here soon. The other game I got with that was Rainbow. This is a card shedder, and it's really cool because you end up with, like, you start out with, I think, about 14 cards in your hand, and they're like numbered 1 to 6, and you're trying to play cards in, and everyone will play like once on a turn. So you're going to put down, whoever leads, they're going to put down either a single card, or they will put down a set or a run. And whatever they do, if they do a set or a run, all other players have to follow the set or the run. And if you don't have so if someone starts with a set, no one else can play a run. They have to play a set or a single card. If a run has been started, then you can play a run or a single card. So whatever you play, whoever plays the most cards gets to pick from the center. So if you have 4 players, there'll be 4 face-up cards in the middle, all with different numbers, valued 1 to 6. Obviously, you want to take the highest card. Those are the points that are available. So once those are taken, then what the cards that everyone played in their hand or played to the table now become the point cards for the next turn. So like all the 6s will get stacked together, the 5s, the 4, whatever. And then anything, so you're going to have an equal amount of pile out there to the amount of players, and anything left over gets chucked out. But now you might have 3 6s, which is worth 18 points. And you might have 3 6s, 2 4s, and a 2, right? So obviously you don't want to go third because you're only going to get 2 points. You want to get those 18 points. But so when you're playing your cards, if you're playing something like 3 6s because you're going to do a set, you want to look, and knowing those 6s are going to be out there matched with anybody else that might put 6s out, are you going to be able to grab those in the next run, in the next turn? Because, you got to make sure, you got to manage what you're playing as to what you can play next. So it's really cool. I really like it. Again, it's a real quick, fast gameplay. And that's Rainbow. Next one I played, it's actually sitting, so SETI, you see SETI right behind me over my shoulder, but right next to it is Rebirth from Reiner Knizia. This is one I just got as well this last week. I've got to play this thing. I did a playthrough just learning it. Then I played with my oldest son, and it's a fantastic game. I really, really liked this game. I didn't know what to think about what I had thought about it when I ordered it. It looked interesting, and when it arrived, it's a beautiful game. Artwork, the color, everything is gorgeous. What's interesting is this game is really 2 games in one. The main game is you're playing Scotland on the one board, and there's a set of rules that your base rules, and then you can flip to the advanced version of the game. You flip the board over, there's a new map, it's Ireland. You still have the same base gameplay, but there's additional things added in. But on your main board, you get private goals. You're placing out food farms, energy farms, and then you're placing like little townships. They don't call them townships. I forgot what they're called, but you're putting out these little townships or communities and building your little towns, and then you also are putting out castles. So you're claiming castle spaces, and you're claiming cathedrals. When you put a cathedral out, you draw a card, which basically becomes a private goal that you're trying to achieve. You can get up to 8 of these private goals throughout the game, depending on how many cathedrals that you place. Players can lock others out from getting to cathedrals by surrounding the cathedral. So it's a hex game. You're putting hex tiles out. And there's it's real simple. You place 1 tile on your turn. You put 1 tile down, you score the points for it. if you change, so like when you put a food farm out, it's 1 point. The next turn, if you put a food farm tile next to that food farm tile, now it's worth 2 points. And so you're trying to change stuff, but you're also want to also reach out. You can place your tile anywhere on the board. You don't have to place it next to something else. And so now you're basically trying to strategize with what other people are doing. You don't want to get blocked out from getting a cathedral by trying to change something too long over here. You're trying to meet your goals, and it's fantastic. It is a great game. I think you can play it in an hour max, probably. That's Rebirth. Next, my son for Christmas gave me a game called Blank Slate. Really fun party game. It's one of these where you can learn the rules in like 10 seconds. You get this dry erase board and a marker, and someone will pull a card out. It'll be like, it'll say something like checks blank, and you might write checks. You might write mix on your board, checks mix. So then everyone shows their thing. If you want to write something that will match with like one person, but you don't want to necessarily match with everybody. So you're trying to write something that you hope someone else will say. If you match with like one person, you get like 3 points. If you match with more than that, I think you only get 1 point. But they also get a point if you match with them. And that's all there is to it. They're going to read a card, blank something or something blank, and people just fill it in and seeing you score your points. Don't Llama, played that one as well. Cute little fun little card game. Also got my daughter got me Point City, which I was looking for because I love Point Salad. So I played Point City. At first, I wasn't really. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure I really like Point City. But by the time we were getting to the end of the game, it was like clicking. It's like, okay, this is it. It is Point Salad like, but different. It does play differently. You're building a little city, so once you kind of get the point and the way you're taking from the market and how things are constantly changing, it's a very interesting game. I really did like it. Just had to wrap my head around it after a few minutes of like, okay, it's not the same game. So if you're like, well, I got Point Salad, I don't need Point City. Don't write it out for that because they do play very differently, and Point City is a fun game. I also got to check out Terminus. I only did a kind of a dry run through it, trying to learn the game myself. I don't have an opinion on this one. I did not have a good time during my learn, but I need to spend some more time trying to learn this one and then get it out with the group, and we'll see how that turns out. But this one of the group of stuff I have here was probably my least enjoyable one. But again, I didn't get a real playthrough on it. It was more of a trying to learn it. So to be determined on that one. Also, got to play Ark Nova for the first time.
Wow.
And
big game.
Yeah, thankfully my buddy Nick, who you've seen on the channel here, him and I did a playthrough of another game I'm going to talk about in a minute. He taught this one to our group. Again, it's a long game. This one took some time to
Did you have a big table?
We did.
Okay, good.
We did. We probably, this is at the game store where we play, and
it doesn't mean it's a big table.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they had bigger tables, but this was our standard 6-player table, and it took up all the space. It did take up the entire table. We didn't have a lot of room to spare.
Yeah.
So clear off all the food and everything. You're going to need every inch of the table. But Ark Nova was a lot more fun than I expected. I only bought it. I looked at it. I know it's like a highly rated game. But every time I looked at it, I was just like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll like this. And it was like, I got it like on sale, I think after New Year's or something. It was like dirt cheap or something somewhere. And I'm like, okay, I'll get it. And we ended up playing it, and I really do like it. So I hope to get this one out to the table again sometime soon,
Yeah,
but it's a big boy. It takes
it's
time.
the number 3 game on BGG right now.
Yeah, and I do know that I saw and I'm following a preview. I think it's on GameFound. They're gonna do a Arc Nova third edition, but it's like a 3D. It's weird. It's like 3D edition or something like that. It's
Okay.
weird how to explain
Mhm.
it, but it's hasn't launched yet. You can follow it, and then it'll be announced. You'll know when it launches, and then I'll see. But it looks like they're going to have, I think, some 3D. It's going to be maximized deluxe edition of Arc Nova, I believe, is basically what it's going to be with all the expansions. So we'll see.
Mhm.
Um, so I'll let you know when I find out more on that. But Arc Nova is a really good game. I really did enjoy that one. And if I recall, I I came I think I ended up in second place behind the guy that was teaching it, but I was like really, really close to winning. I did really well on my first play. Now, with that said, that's because Nick was hand holding me and kept telling me, make sure you do this, make sure you got this, because you can get running, you put these experts out, and when someone else does something in their park, you can gain stuff. And he kept reminding me that I had that. So that's the only reason I was doing as well, was because Nick's a great teacher. All right. Next, Nick and I on this channel, we streamed a playthrough of Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth. If you've played Seven Wonders Duel, this is essentially, I guess, that game, but Lord of the Ringified and changed a little bit. The game is really, really fun. I've heard from people who have played both that they would not play Seven Wonders Duel anymore, that Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth is a better game. I can't comment on that as I've not played
Okay.
Seven Wonders Duel, but Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth is fantastic. It's a
Yes.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's multiple ways that you can win that game. So you've got the race for the ring. It's a little slider where what is it called? The is it the Nazgul is chasing Frodo, and then if Frodo gets to Mount Doom before the Nazgul gets to him, then that's one way to win. If the Nazgul gets you first, then Sauron wins. You can also win by there's a map out that you're putting armies into the land of Middle Earth. You can win by basically taking over and having presence in every area, which is how I ended up winning. And then there is a third way, and it must be something to do with the cards. I just can't remember what. Oh, if you get the green science cards are basically like race cards. So if you get someone from each, like an elf, a dwarf, a wizard, and those types of things. I think there's 7. So if you collect 7 different of the green cards, you can win as well, because then you've gained allies from all those races. So there's 3 different ways to win the game, and it's interesting how it works out. It seems like you're trying to focus on one, all of a sudden someone else is running away with the other one. You can't ignore any one of those 3. So it's really good. Next, I played Stamps. excuse me, Stamp Swap. I do really enjoy this game. It's a great 4-player game that you're collecting stamps, and it doesn't sound that exciting. And this was another one I think I got at a really good deal. That's why I kind of picked it up. And turns out I really do enjoy this game, and it's don't be lost by the theme of collecting stamps. It's actually a really fun game that you can. There's different ways to score. You're getting these different size stamps. Some stamps are canceled stamps, and you could score points for those depending on where they're placed. You place them on your board, so you're basically drafting stamps, and then you have to split the 6 stamps that you have, or is it? I think it's 6. And then you could reserve one, but then you're splitting your collection in half, and then everyone's going around the table picking a set of stamps from someone else's collection and taking those, and so then you end up with what someone didn't take of yours, what you set out. You take your half back with the one you selected, and then you put those stamps in your book. Some of them you don't know what they are because they're face down. Some you know what they are because they might be faced up. Some will have point values at the end. Some will have negative point values. There's sets of like, I'm trying to get like vehicle stamps to get more points, and there's a lot of different like bonus ways to score points, and you might be making sets of colors or themes, or making groups of large size stamps or small size stamps. So lots of different ways to get points in the game, and it plays again pretty quick, and it's a lot of fun. Almost done, Rob. I played Love Letter. This one is one that everyone I've introduced this to, despite this being an older game, I've found people have not played it, and everyone has really enjoyed Love Letter. Also played some Dice Throne recently. I can't remember who I played it against. Can't even remember. I know I played it. I'll have to look up. But played some Dice Throne. And also last I got in some Ancient Knowledge, where Rob beat me on BGA. But I gotta say this. I did come back and didn't get whooped as bad as it was looking at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought there was going to be a much bigger score gap, but it was only a couple points.
Yeah, I got my game on there by the end, but another round or two I might have been able to even it up, but I was glad. I was happy because I didn't get destroyed like I was at the beginning of the game. So,
Well done.
but that's what I got played over the last couple of weeks. How about yourself, Rob?
I've got one game on my list, and it's a new release from Postmark Games that just came out right at the tail end of the year. Postmark tends to make these print and play games that are surprisingly really good, and lately I've been kickstarting pretty much every one of them. And this one is called 52 Realms Adventures, and it's a print and play dungeon crawler of all things. And what's cool about this one is that the game is basically just two sheets of paper. So one is what I'll call like the main board, or the dungeon itself, and then the other is a character sheet, and there's two characters. There's like a barbarian and a seeker, I think, or seer. That's right. And basically what you do is you choose your character, and they're printed opposing each other on the sides. So you flip it over one way, turn it upside down to get the other player, the other character. But you just tuck it underneath the main sheet of paper, and that's all that you have. Now, it is a print and play, but you don't write on it, so it's not like one of those roll and write, play and write style games. So I do appreciate that as well. And all you need for this game is a standard deck of playing cards. So I dug out my old bicycle card set that I had, I don't know, from like 30 years ago. my one set of regular playing cards, surprisingly in mint condition. But yeah, all you need is a set of playing cards, and then a bunch of different markers of sorts. They suggest you can use like dice or like coins. No, you can't. You can use cubes if they're small enough, because I suppose you could use a pawn, or maybe even a figurine, a miniature, or something like that for your character as you move around the dungeon. That actually might be kind of cool. That'd be more thematic. But the score track for the monsters is just these little squares in a vertical column. And if you get something that's too large, like at first I had the thing that was most convenient to me was just a set of dice. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work. Oddly enough, in my little stash of stuff that I was components that I was using to play this game with, I had a really tiny die from some games. So this thing was like itty bitty. It was like less than a centimeter cube. It was like half a centimeter cube, and that thing worked perfect. But your standard cubes from any game would work just fine for this. But the gist of it is basically you shuffle your deck of cards, and what you're trying to do is get through the dungeon from one side of the dungeon to the opposing side, and going from room to room. Sometimes you have to pay a certain expense to get from room to room. Other times you have to fight a monster to get from room to room. And then you get various rewards, loot, items, and such. And what's also interesting about this game is just how they incorporated the cards into it, because I don't think I've seen this in any other game. It might not be a new thing, but it's definitely new to me. So as an example, if you're fighting a monster, when you encounter the monster, you draw 2 cards. Whichever card is the higher card, kings being like 13? Yeah, kings are 13. A 2 or a 3 is a 2 or a 3. Aces are actually curses, so you don't want them. I guess that's one way to make a 1 not part of the game. But so you draw 2 cards. Whichever is the higher card, that represents the monster, and whichever is the lower card numerically represents the reward for that encounter. So that's the one that you get when you defeat the monster, if you defeat the monster. But the suit on the card for the monster actually dictates what the creature is. So, for example, diamond is lizard, a goblin is the clubs, etc. And then as you're battling the monster, what's kind of cool is you draw a card from your deck, and then that signifies the attack. So let's say you had a goblin, and I'm looking at the sheet right here, and if you were to draw a 5 of clubs, then that means that clubs means that the monster attacks you for the face value of that card. So that would be an attack for 5 points. And then like a spade is an attack 5 if damaged exhausts the highest equip that you have. And I'll get into that in a second. But so it's just a novel way to just to have like different creatures and different kinds of attacks. And then as you fight the monster, you have a set. So you keep these down at the bottom. You have a set of equip cards. So these are the ones that you exhaust or tap, to use magic terminology, meaning you turn it sideways to signify that you used it. You use your equip cards, your equipment cards, to basically fight monsters and a couple other things. So it's just an interesting way to to like randomize the battle sequences. And then you've got to worry about like, well, I'm going to use up all my cards, I have to refresh them. And it's just a really interesting way to do that. And then also every character has 3 different abilities, like the barbarian, for example, which is my favorite character. You get like 3 different abilities. So like whenever you block an attack exactly by defending, deal 5 damage to the enemy and refresh, untap one equipment card. Then you get axe fling, which is A and B enemies. That's the strength of enemies. A and B is like the weaker ones. Once per battle, as an action, you may discard an equipment card to deal damage equal to double its rank. So, you discard a card out of the game, but if you have like a king, it'll be a tough one to discard. You can deal a lot of damage very quickly. And then my favorite ability is if you kill an enemy within 2 battle rounds, take its card as loot. So when you defeat an enemy, you get the reward card that is the second card that you drew, and then you get to place it either as an equipment card, meaning those are the ones you use to fight monsters, for example. You can use it as loot, which think of that as kind of like points towards end of the game, or you can use it as an item, which are like single use, like single use powers, like if you put a club card into your item stash, then that becomes a strength potion, which untaps all of your equip cards. So those things like the strength potion, cloak of deception, health potion, and lucky crystal, like those are the different ones, the 4 different ones, one for each suit for the barbarian. So those are like power-ups or abilities that are one-offs versus the deadly riposte, the axe fling, and the frenzy that I mentioned earlier. But anyway, it's surprisingly fun. I'm very pleased with it. $6 well spent for this Kickstarter. Definitely. And I was actually kind of thinking, I'm like, I definitely need to maybe break out the laminator, which I haven't touched in a long time, because maybe this one is worth laminating. And I've got a laser printer, so the edges sort of curl on them on some printouts, just a tiny bit as it goes through the rollers. But surprisingly fun game. Not surprisingly fun game. It is a fun game. I mean, I don't think I mentioned it. It's designed by Matthew Dunstan. I don't know how familiar you are with his stuff, Mark, but he's done a ton of stuff. Actually, it was a team. It wasn't just by him. It was Matthew Dunstan and Rory Muldoon. So definitely a thumbs up for this one. And Matthew Dunstan, he did that Merchant Explorers. Yeah, Guild of Merchant Explorers. He did the Next Station games. I know you know those, like London, Tokyo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did those. He's done so many games in the last couple of years. Let's see here. Yeah, Sixth Realm, which is a new one. He's doing the Dungeons and Dragons Builders of Baldur's Gate, which is coming out later on this year. Yeah, the Next Station games, Waypoints, Pioneer Rails. And that's just in the last 2 years, all those games. And I left out a lot. My Shelfie, Village Rails. Yeah, Guild of Merchant Explorers. That one's already over 2 years old. But anyway, that is 52 Realms Adventures. Very fun game, and it's available on the Postmark game site. If you didn't back it, I mean, talk about instant play, right? You just buy it from their site and then print it, and boom, you're off to the races. You're off to playing. So very fun game. Highly recommend it if you're looking for I was going to say, if you're looking for a quick dungeon crawl game, it's not necessarily quick. It's not super long either, but definitely fun game.
And one good thing about it, doesn't take up shelf space.
Yes. Yes.
You can always find a place to put a piece of paper, right?
Oh, for sure. With the other print and plays, or actually print it on demand. Whenever you need it, you can print a fresh copy, and then
there you go.
It does not consume any space. Well, maybe it does consume spaces
in the landfill if you keep burning paper.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's cool.
Anyway, let's get rolling. Oh, that's right, because you got a deadline here. How are we on time? You got 40 minutes?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yep, we got time.
Okay. So let's move on to the news really quick. Only two things that I really found that we could kind of just briefly talk about, and we'll keep this pretty brief. But the Mandalorian Adventures game that came out, was it this year or not this year? This last Gen Con, I think it was 2024 Gen Con, not the one before. But they're coming out with an expansion. So the expansion is going to be out in the summer to coincide with the release of the next season of the Disney Plus series, Mandalorian. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it's just The Mandalorian, right? Yeah,
Correct.
the TV show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a $40 MSRP. Includes 110 cards, 137 tokens, mission book, some standees, and double-sided mercenary mission sheets. So if you played the first one and you're looking for some more, I think it's a good time to release when it's coming out with the TV show, because that's when people get excited about this stuff, right? They're watching
Yeah.
a TV show, they're loving it. Yeah, let me play a Mando game. So look for this one in the summer. So that's Mandalorian Adventures Clan of Two. And then the other thing, I guess not such a good thing overall, but in the middle of December, Wormwood, which is a manufacturer of some freaking amazing board game tables. Have you ever seen them?
Oh yeah. I've seen them at Gen Con. They're
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Oh, like incredible. But some sad news for them is that they had some layoffs. So they laid off about half the company. So they had around 190 folks, I think, 180, 190 folks. And then they cut their staff by half. And, they had a lot of popularity, especially around the COVID time, when everybody was kind of like stuck in the house, and board gaming really took off like crazy. And the demand just isn't there, unfortunately. But yeah, these tables are just amazing. Like, not cheapy furniture. I mean, great build quality with inlays and intricacies. Like they even,
I don't think you're gonna get any better than Wormwood
yeah,
uh, on any table. I mean, this is the highest of quality for sure.
and they got modular tables. I saw they had a gaming desk, which I didn't know that they did. That's one of the one of the motorized tables that rises up or down. But quality wood, as opposed to like the cheapy laminated stuff like I got. And they have accessories like dice towers, dice, these cool trays. Yeah. Oh wow, they even have like candles. I guess that's just merch. But yeah, really unfortunate, especially like right in front of the holidays. I'm sure it wasn't something that they wanted to do, but you know, that stinks that it happened. And that was it. That was all that I had for the news this time. I'm sure that once we get past the holiday season here, which we are now officially out of, that things will start picking up again, news-wise, as everybody comes back from break and gets back to work.
Yeah. Back
Okay.
to work, everybody.
Yeah. Now we need to get back to work talking about what we're anticipating
Yes.
for 2025. And I think we got a list. What we got, like 10?
Sure, with a couple
10.
honorable mentions, I think, from you, and I
Yeah.
got one.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah, you got one there. Here, I'll rattle off my honorable mentions. And the first one is Skara Bray. And this is one that I'm really looking forward to. I backed this on Kickstarter whenever that was. I don't think it was this summer. It was probably this fall. But that was a double game that I backed. So Skara Bray's from Shem Phillips, I believe, if I remember correctly, and my memory's not so good. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. Yeah, Shem Phillips and Sam Phillips, the artist from Garphill Games. And, it is, I love these themes. Gather resources and shelter the settlers of Neolithic northern Scotland. So, but I am very excited for this one. And it was a double back with the other game. What was it? I think it was Anarchy. That up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Anarchy. Which, what happened? I had this open somewhere. But Anarchy is kind of like a successor to Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, okay.
So
Like that game.
I'm excited to get both of those. Yeah. So those are supposed to be out this summer. So I got those two, or actually Skara Bray, and maybe I'll tag in Anarchy in there as well. Unstoppable is another one that I'm really looking forward to. Tikal Legends. I mean, that's the classic Tikal series, which I think was a triple game. It's like Tikal, and I forgot what the other two were. And then Sixth Realm I have in here as well. And Sixth Realm, that's another game by Matthew Dunstan. Very cool game. So Skara Bray, Unstoppable, Tikal Legends, and Sixth Realm. Those are my honorable mentions. How about you? Which ones do you have?
I gotta admit, I stole this from your list, so
That's okay.
I totally forgot this was coming
away.
out. This, in fact, actually, I'm going to make a little bit of a change because I am going to I'm going to put Galactic Cruise as my honorable mention. It's something that I'm not sure if I will like, but it is something that I'm interested to see what it's going to be like.
I forgot about that one. I got that one back as well.
Did you back that one?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't, but I remember seeing it and looking at it, and it seemed interesting. But again, I think it was one of those. It's like I think it might be a little too high up the food chain there, heavyweight wise. So, but now that I'm delving into it, I want to see what it's going to be like. I want to see how it plays. I am curious about that one. So, nothing that I'm necessarily like dying to play or anything, but it's something I'm very curious about. I do want to see it and see if it's something that I would enjoy. So that's why I'm going to give that one on my honorable mention.
Okay.
And that's it for me for honorable mentions.
Okay. All right, you want to start off? Go with your number 10?
Sure. So for me, excuse me, my number 10, and I know you were like what? Why is this on here? It's a Vital Lacerda game.
I know.
And
I was surprised, pleasantly surprised.
This is one called Speakeasy. And the reason this is because I've played Kanban EV a couple of times. and I have found it to be very. To me, it's complicated.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it doesn't for me at the same time. And again, I was talking to you yesterday about how some games, the theme of it can really, I think, plays a big part in how I'm able to attach myself or understand the game. So, for example, with SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, the things that you're doing make sense to me. And I don't have any experience in the automotive world, and I know you're designing cars, building cars, testing cars, things like that, getting materials, but kind of like the way that game flows doesn't work in my mind. It's like I'm not seeing A leads to B leads to C. Like it doesn't, I feel like I'm going from A to L to B to Z to it's like so this one is still it's weighted at almost a 4. So it is a heavy game, but it's taking place during the Prohibition ages in Manhattan. And it sounds like it would be kind of fun. It's a worker placement card management. You are managing like a speakeasy during the Prohibition era, so you're gonna hire goons to like I don't know, attack other gangs and in the area, and you're fighting over the liquor business, and it sounds like like it would be a fun game. I'm really wanting to see. So again, this is I've got to see it played. It's nothing I'm going to buy until I get a chance to maybe see it played, or if someone else in my group gets it and brings it, and I get a chance to see what it's like. I'm very interested in this one. It's one I want to try to play, and hopefully I'll get an opportunity to play Speakeasy this year.
Okay. My number 10 is Point Galaxy, which we had just briefly mentioned. And, game by Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, and Sean Stinkowich from Flat Out Games. And, I enjoy the point salad game, and I'm just looking forward to a little bit of a different spin on it. Just we'll see how it goes, right? Hopefully, it's not just planets instead of onions.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Jupiter. Yeah.
based on how the difference between Point City and Point Salad are, I think it'll
Yeah.
probably be a winner.
Yeah.
They are same basic concept, but they play different.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be same concept, but new layers of sequence building is what they say. But I'm definitely expecting a solid game out of this. So that's my number 10, Point Galaxy.
Okay. In fact, now my list is all messed up here. There we go. My number. No, why is it messed up? Oh, it's still messed up. No, all my numbering is messed up now.
Yeah, I can do my number 9 while you're looking.
That's okay. My number 9. I just got to remember it's going to be one less than what it says. Number 9 is Blood. This is a game that I saw on the Game Found. I saw it's like a very popular crowdfunded game. It hasn't shipped. It's due out in 2025. But this one looks really interesting because it's a boss battler game for 1 to 4 players, and you're going to be you're controlling a group of monster hunters, and you're going after Vlad is a vampire, I guess a very famous vampire, and you're going to fight basically his champions to get to the point of where you're actually fighting Vlad Dracula himself. And the game looks really cool. Some of the shots I've seen, And I just kind of like I don't have a boss battler, and this one looks kind of cool. So this is something again. I don't expect I'm going to get a chance to see this one unless I were to buy it. Um, I just don't know if this is something anyone in my group will have, but I'm going to be on the lookout to see if anyone gets this one when it releases. Again, that's called Blood. And this one's from Ludus Magnus Studio, and it's designed by Diego Fonseca and Leonardo Romano. So it's we'll see how that turns out.
Okay, my number 9 is a game called Misfit Heroes. This is by Phil Walker Harding, definitely one of my favorites, favorite designers, and it's going to be published by AEG. Not a whole lot is out there about this game, but that's a good combo for me, Phil and AEG. So that sounds like a winning combo. And it's going to be on Kickstarter sometime here in the next month or two. So that's when we'll hopefully get a whole ton more information on this. But yeah, it's basically a let's see, what do they call this here? It's like a card game. Yeah, craft character cards with clever card play. And there was a game from AEG that had, and I'm having a brain fart right now, where you had the cards and then you had clear cards that you slid on top of them that added abilities to it. So they were like in a sleeve. You know what I'm talking about?
Is this one that we kickstarted?
No.
Because I backed something like that.
Man.
Or are you saying this is one that's already out?
It's already out there. It's by John D. Clare. Anyway, actually, now I got to look it up because let's see.
This is our radio edit.
Yeah.
Take a short break. Yeah,
he made Mystic Vale. There we go. See, why couldn't you help me with that?
I was trying, but
it's like now you should be like, yeah, now I know what you're saying. But anyway, it's so you have cards that are in sleeves, and then you put clear cards on top of them that change the stats. So it's supposed to be something along those lines. So think of it how like you can like up level things, right? You can take cards to the next level without having to replace the cards.
Yeah, I think I was thinking of Ruins that's coming out this year from Allplay. That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh yeah. I remember that one.
Where you put the clear cards over it. So
So anyway, that is Misfit Heroes. Looking forward to that one.
Okay. Now, my number 8 might get me on a technicality because the game is already out. Came out in 2024, but I don't have it, and I have backed a second printing of it, which is not out yet. So it's coming with a second print and some upgrades, and that's Leviathan Wilds. This is designed by Justin Kempanen, art by Samuel Shimota, and this is published by Mooncrab Games. This looked really cool when I saw it, and so this like you're taking on like it's a book like that lays out in front of you, and there's these huge creatures, and your little characters like are kind of climbing up on these creatures, and I think the story is like there's these crystals that are kind of causing these leviathans to kind of go wild. So the players have to go up there and climb these large monsters and remove these crystals, and you can end up like falling, and so you want to try to maneuver so that if something happens and you fall, that you can land below you and not all the way back down to the ground type of thing. And it's a unique from anything that I have seen before, and I'm looking forward to this one. So that is Leviathan Wilds as
Okay.
my number 8.
Okay. My number 8 is a game called Quayside by Richard Breeze. And I think he had a co-designer, David Turtzi, on there as well. So a game by Huck and R&D Games. So this is another in a series of what I'll call key games that have been done, like Quayside, Cathedral, Keeper. There's a couple more. So it's all of a series of games, and this one, you're going to be taking a team of workers, which aren't meeples, they're key pulls, right? Not meep, but key, as opposed to the game. So yeah, your workers are going to be working harbors, markets, farms, that kind of stuff. And you got some dice in the mix in there as well. A little bit of like these tend to be a little bit like midweight plus, I guess, games. Looking forward to this one. Let's see. Yeah, I was looking at a couple of the other ones. Yeah, they're usually like in the threes in terms of weight. But yeah, this is a series that's been coming out for like years. Yeah, Keyflower came out in 2012. It's been a while. What's the latest one? Keeper? Let's see. Even that's 2017. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Quayside is my number 8. How about you? Next?
Oh, sorry. I just heard is my number. I didn't hear a number.
8. Yeah, I said 8.
All right, I did. Sorry. So my number 8 again. Technically, it's not out yet, but technically it is. This is Puerto Rico 1897 Special Edition, which launches in 2025.
I'll give you that one. You can do that one because yeah, it is a thing.
So designed by Andreas Seyfarth, artist is Jakub Zakowski. This is from Awakened Realms. I think with Ravensburger as well for this special edition that's coming out. And along with that, I did add on San Juan, the card game, so I'll be getting that as well.
Great game.
That's what I hear.
Okay. I was gonna say we can play it on the con, but yeah, that's coming.
Yeah, unless you've got it.
Actually, I do.
You got the card game, you can bring it? Okay.
Yeah, it's small enough I can bring it.
Okay. So, this is, it's been around. I don't know when it first came out, but this is one that after the Castles of Burgundy special edition, this one, and I love everything about that. I saw this one, and I know this is a really highly rated game, and I have not played it, and I went in, and I'm spending a lot of money, so I really hope I like Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's a good game. It was like number 1 on BGG for a long time.
Yeah, it's rated a 3, 1 to 5 players, which I like that it's up to 5. That really, I like games that give me at least a 5, especially when a game group always seems like we have 5 people, and too many 1 to 4 player games just doesn't work. But yeah, Puerto Rico 1897, the special edition is what I'm looking. That's sitting at my number 7.
Okay, my number 7 is Revenant. This is by Mind Clash Games. I kickstarted it a couple months ago. I think it's supposed to be out hopefully by the summertime-ish. But it is a 1 to 4 player game set in the Voidfall universe, and it's standalone, does not need anything else. And this is a game that's got some like crazy table presence. Like when you see it on the table, you're like, ooh, what's that? At least for me, it's got all these like different spaceships. Um, definitely looks really cool on the table. But as far as the game goes, it's a competitive worker placement game where you take on the role of admirals coordinating the defense of a fleeing Starfleet. So definitely looking forward to this one. It is a little heavier and it does take a little bit more time because they're advertising playtime as being 90 to 120 minutes. So you know you're in for something a little meatier, I guess, when you're approaching playtimes that hit the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to this one from Mind Clash. So that's Revenant, my number 7.
All right, my number 6 is from Druid. Oh, hold on. Yeah, Druid City Games, designed by Aaron Hine and Manny Tremblay, with art by Manny Tremblay. And this is Madkala, a Wonderlands War game. So this is basically what Mancala in the Wonderlands War. So this is you're using characters from Wonderlands War, taking part in the Tournament of Champions. It's a 1v1 asymmetric game where you're pitting each other against in a battle of wits and luck. And I really like Wonderlands War, so that's such a fun game, and the art is so beautiful. And I do not have a Mancala game, or I think it's Mancala, sorry, traditional Mancala game, and I'm like, well, here's one that I like the theme, I like the world, and might as well be a nice little addition to my Wonderlands War world. So that's Madkala coming out sometime soon because I know the pre-orders. I did back it, and they are now have pre-orders now available. So this one should be coming out here fairly soon. Oh, actually, it's estimated not till October. So never mind. End of year. Unless they've definitely updated that because the pre-orders are now going. But Madkala is number 6.
Okay. For me, I've got Tend. So this is a game from Ivy Studio that also did Moonrakers, Moon Rollers, Fractured Sky. Those are like the main ones that I know of over the last couple of years. And this is a flip and write game that, I don't know, there's just something about it. Like the art on it just calls to me.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks so interesting. And wasn't it done by, no, that was the
Max
last game.
Anderson, Zach Dixon, Austin Harrison, and Toby Sarnell.
Yeah, I was thinking the artist was somebody, but no, that was the last game that we talked about, or that I talked about. But it just looks like a really interesting game with the whole flip and write mechanic that it definitely sparked my curiosity. With this one is everybody's going to be building up their own farm and collecting goods to send back for study. And then you have a set of action cards. And then, if I remember right, I want to say there's like a scratch off element to this as well.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like mini games too, I think.
Yeah. So it just looks interesting. And it's one that I'm definitely looking forward to checking out just because I love it when a game has something like new and interesting to it instead of just all same old thing, you know? So that was my number 6, 10.
All right, my number 5 is one you mentioned earlier, Point Galaxy. Um, I forgot about this, and I saw it on your list. I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna add it as an honorable mention. I was like, no, this is one I'm definitely getting. This definitely needs to be on my list. That's why Galactic Cruise got bumped. So, Point Galaxy, especially after playing Point City and liking both of those games and knowing that they play differently, it's not just the same thing with a new theme. I'm looking forward to Point Galaxy and seeing how that's going to play out, being a space theme. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So Point Galaxy is my number 5.
Okay. My number 4. What number are we on? No, 5.
Should be your number
It's my
5,
number
right?
5. Yeah. I should have my things numbered better instead of opposite. Anyway, this one is called Storm Raiders. I know BG has this technically listed as a 2024 release, but I don't believe it's out yet. And this one over here is another Shem Phillips game that just seems really interesting. This one over here, you're looking to be the player with the most prestige, and you gain that prestige by salvaging wreck sites, fulfilling contracts, acquiring crew, upgrading vehicles. It's I don't know, has like a whole like Mad Max kind of vibe to it. And is another one that has some pretty cool art and table presence. So that is my number 5, Storm Raiders.
All right, I got a crossover here with you again. My number 4 is Tend. This I've tried to like. I was ignoring this one at first because I was like, it's another flipping right, and I've got a bunch of rolling rights and flipping rights, and it's like I got to stop buying these things. And this one, I was watching them do a playthrough on the Dice Tower, and I'm just like, this looks so. I think I backed this on the very last day it was available because I think they did their thing, and they're like, this is the last day to get it. And I was watching them play, and I'm like, this looks so good. And so I bought it. I backed this one, and I'm really looking forward to it. Like you said, the look of this game, it's just a beautiful
It's
flip and
unique.
right.
It
Is unique.
Unlike other games, yeah.
Yes, and I'm curious about, like Tom Vassell was talking about the fishing game. Like he loves the fishing mini game in this thing, and I'm like, how is there a mini game? I'm so excited to see this and get this to to the table and play this one. This is one I feel like is a flip and right that will come out time and time again. It looks like this one has staying power. So, Tend is my number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is a game called Moon Colony Bloodbath.
Whoa.
What an exciting game name there. This is by Donald X. Vaccarino, which I'm really excited about. So he made Dominion. He's like pretty much the father of deck building games, or the inventor of deck building games. And, often imitated ever since. But he also did that one game that we played.
Oh, that one?
Somewhere. Kingdom Builder. I'm like, I know I had it on the front here somewhere. It's just so many games. It's hard to remember. But anyway, so he's coming out with his first release, and he's had like a whole lot of releases lately. But this is a engine building, engine losing tableau game. So we'll see exactly how that goes. So you have a shared deck where players the shared deck that the players build that makes things happen. Many of them bad things that kill people in your moon colony. But some are positive. But some are positive. And then some that let you build up. Basically, you know, you're playing this game until the game lasts until one player's moon colony has no people in it, and then you score. So the game's going to be out later this year. Not a whole lot of info on this one, other than the box cover. I know the rules were released early, like late last year, but yeah, we're looking to see this one from Rio Grande Games, hopefully this year. Oh wow! I just saw a post on BGG from Jay Tummelson, which is he is Mr. Rio Grande Games. He's the publisher. And he said 5 hours ago, the game has arrived and it will ship out next week.
Oh, wow.
So this one is coming soon. Oh, how exciting.
Nice.
So, yeah, hopefully it'll get into the stores in the next couple weeks. So definitely looking forward to this one. That's Moon Colony Bloodbath from Donald X. Vaccarino.
All right. My number 3, we're in our top 3 now. This is getting exciting. So I'm gonna drag it out a little bit. But this one's designed by Jeremy Rosenhart with art by Shirley Gong, and it's published by Adam's Apple Games, publisher of one of my favorites, Planet Unknown, which is actually sitting right underneath our little sign here, just behind SETI and Rebirth, but that's Planet Unknown poking its head out. This game is Tatsumi, and this is coming out this year, and you're going to play as a dragon, gathering elements at the sea and providing good fortune for your island. So this game's got there's 4 elements. Each element is represented by these unique colored rings. And there's going to be 4 dragons, each one represented by one of the elements. And the game is over when the elements at sea are exhausted and your island creators are relying on you to provide protection and good fortune for the coming year. So the game is influenced by your dragon's elemental alignment, and you need to gather new raw elements from the sea. And it's really neat. If you look at the board, it's like this 3D board that will hold, and it's going to be interesting how they do this. But they're working on this board that's going to hold these rings, and it's like you're gathering these rings and placing your dragons out on this board to gather these things. And you get to, during your turn, you get to do 2 different actions, one of which is flying, and the other is between gathering resources, scoring resources, or shedding a scale. So this thing looks really cool, and like I said, I'm really impressed with Adam's Apple so far, of what I've seen, and this just looks like something new and unique that will be fun to play. And it's also like a 30 to 45 minute game. It's only a 1 to 4 player, but it's a weight of 2, so it's it's a lighter mid to light game. So really looking forward to Tatsumi. Okay. So number 3.
All right, my number 3 is Citizens of the Spark. This is a game coming out from Philip Dubarry. He's a fantastic designer. Love a whole bunch of his games. Pretty much when I see his name, it's an insta buy for me. He has that status. And the artist on this is Diego Sa. I think that's how you say it. That's S-A, with a little symbol over it. But he also did Comic Hunters, if you remember that one from Gen Con.
Yep.
Although the art is not comic bookish in this one whatsoever. And in this one, this is it's a variable setup card game where you're going to be taking turns attracting citizens, taking actions, and claiming sparks. Then the more citizen cards that you have of a specific type, the more powerful that citizen's action becomes. And then the person with the most sparks in their city, when the deck runs out, wins. So, fairly straightforward. Looking forward to it. Interesting card game. I do like the art on this one. There's I don't know what you would describe the art as. It's just really colorful, like HDR looking artwork, like very vibrant colors on there. Very cool. And really looking forward to this. So this one is my number 3, Citizens of the Spark from Philip Dubarry. Awesome designer, awesome games. He's been on the show a couple of times previously. Like when Black Orchestra came out, and there was another one, maybe Courtier. But really looking forward to this one. And I backed one of his games on Kickstarter. What the heck was it? There was another one that he came out with. Oh, Citizens of the Spark. Got that one backed. And there was one more. I don't remember what it is. They had a lot of updates for that other one. Did you ever notice Kickstarter, when you click the show me more, it takes forever? Order of the Day Normandy. That was the other one.
Oh, okay.
That I backed. So that is it's a military, like World War II game. But definitely looking forward to Citizens of the Spark, as well as Order of the Day Normandy. That's my number 3.
All right, my number 2. This one plays 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, takes 20 to 40 minutes. It's a weighted of 2. You know what it is? You don't, do you? All right, so let me give you more hints. Designed by Gavin Brown, Nate Chetelier, and Manny Tremblay, with art by Manny Tremblay, and published by the great almighty Roxley Games.
Yes.
One of my faves. So, got any thoughts there, Rob? What I could be hinting at? The greatest game of all time. For me. One of my faves. Dice Throne X-Men.
Solitaire. Yeah.
Dice Throne X-Men. So this is more, I guess it's Marvel Dice Throne X-Men. You get to play one of 8 Marvel iconic X-Men are coming into the Dice Throne world, including Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Rogue, Gambit, Psylocke, Iceman, and Jean Grey. Plus, there was a 9th character that I did back, or add on, which is Deadpool. So 9 new characters that you can put into the Dice Throne world. And also, this was also coming with, I think it's called Dice Throne Missions, which the original game, you had the Dice Throne Adventures, which took this competitive game, made it a cooperative game, I guess that's kind of a boss battler. I guess I do have a boss battler. I forgot about that. So you're competing like in a dungeon crawl, but you're still playing Dice Throne, but you're playing against a boss, and you're working together as a team to go through and defeat the boss. So what they've done here is now you still have your Dice Throne X-Men characters to play as normal, and then if you want to add on what they call missions, it's different. They've changed it up, which I'm glad. This looks a lot easier to run. So they're doing like this one run through instead of building the tiled dungeons. It's like there's a board and there's minions, and you're working your way through this one mission to take on a boss. And I think it's going to be much more streamlined than the Dice Throne Adventures was. So this is getting ready in the US. I just checked it. They are planning to, the stuff has arrived, and they're figuring January 20th. So in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks-ish or so, they should start fulfillment and shipping out. So I hoping that all my X-Men stuff, which I've been waiting for a very long time, I went crazy all in. I've got everything deluxeified, acrylified, everything
Mm-hmm.
miniaturized. I got it all, and I cannot wait for this box to show up. It's going to be huge. So I'm open by February, early February. I hope to have this in my little mitts, and I'll be playing and unboxing and doing playthroughs, and woo, I can't wait. My number 2, Marvel's Dice Throne X-Men.
Okay, my number 2 is a game by Stefan Feld called Valencia. This is yet another one of those Queen City games that I am just a sucker for. And this is the latest. So the fact that this one closed out, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, that means they should have another Kickstarter here to take my money for the next set. But anyway, so Valencia is a re-implementation of a former Stefan Feld game called Strasbourg. It's a classic game that's about like 13, 14 years old now. And then this one has new art by Mikhailo Dimitrusky, which he goes by the name of The Miko. And it includes a couple of one-ups from Strasbourg, which is a classic, awesome Euro game, old school Euro game. And they added a couple of improvements to it, including a variable game board setup, a new 2-player variant, 10 new task cards, an updated round structure. So, it's not just a one-for-one replacement. It's like, think of it like Strasbourg 2.0. And then they also have 5 new edifices, fountains in Valencia, along with the deluxe version of the city collection. There's wooden tokens and all this other really good stuff. However, there's one thing that I'm really not a fan of, and I think I've mentioned this before, is these games come with what they call an eco-friendly storage solution. So it's basically a set of boxes, so cardboard boxes, where you put a bunch of dividers into. And I don't know, I would almost rather have some kind of like game trays or something like that.
Right.
Instead of just these little rectangles that you put, you punch out little dividers from a sheet and then you just like assemble them in there. So not a huge fan, but that doesn't detract from the game whatsoever. So Valencia is my number 2.
All right. Takes us to my number 1. Let's see. How do I want to do this different. I'm going to do it this way. Prepare to face your worst nightmare. The highly anticipated 3rd installment of the critically acclaimed sci-fi horror board game series. Designed by Adam Kopinski and published by Awakened Realms, Nemesis Retaliation is coming this year. I love Nemesis. And
Mm-hmm.
I got to play that, I think, maybe in 2023, maybe it was early 24. And I did play Nemesis Lockdown this year. I finally was able to get that one out, and it's fantastic. I cannot wait for Retaliation. So the first game was on a ship, the second game was on a planet. This third one is, instead of a board, think of it like Nemesis meets Clank Catacombs. You are starting out like going down, I think you're like in a space station or something like that, but you are like you're building the board as you go. So you're never knowing what's going to be like in the next section. It's like you go step out into this next room and then it's like, here's what happens. And there's like, and it's also like the difference from like Alien to Aliens. Like there's multiples, not Nemesis, both the first and second game did have multiple aliens in the game, but it's like this one's going to, it looks like it's going to amp that up and make it even more tense and stressful than it already is. So I am so excited. I watched another channel, like they had a playthrough of it, so I watched them do their playthrough, and it just looks like so exciting. There's more aliens to fight. There's new tools to help you fight them, and it's basically going to be a fresh experience for both fans of the series and new players alike. So again, this is not going to just be more Nemesis. It's a like, how can we make it even more stressful, and let's not have a map. Let's just see what's going to happen with these tiles. And that's why I love Clank Catacombs, because it's different every time you play. The board is different, and this is going to be just like that. So I know this game is getting really close. I think it's going to ship this summer. I know their first wave went out. If you had backed, because like you could get in this thing, you could get all the stuff you missed the first time. Like I don't have the original Nemesis game. Someone else introduced me to it, and so I have Lockdown, but I have ordered the original game along with the third one, and but I said send it to me all at the same time. So the first wave already went out for the first two games, but their second wave with that's when I'll get all my stuff is still to come. They don't have dates yet, but I think it was estimated for this summertime. So I'm really looking forward to Nemesis Retaliation. That is my number one.
Okay. And my number one is the other half of Valencia in terms of the Kickstarter, and that's Chichen Itza. So that one is a new one. It's not a re-implementation of an old game. It's a new game by Stefan Feld and Queen Games, of course, that is set in, a Mayan temple. And the deluxe version has, so there's standees in the game. How do you one up standees to make them deluxeified?
Miniatures.
No, you make them acrylic.
Oh, how do you, oh.
And I was like, that's one thing that kind of like, I was like, what? And I'm like, okay, all right, sure. Well, we'll see if that works. But acrylic standees, I'm sure, are a lot easier to store than miniatures in the box.
Yes.
But it's Stefan Feld game, has dice in it, and a dice tower. So there's only a couple of games that I can think of that come with built-in, or not built-in, that come with a dice tower as part of the game, and this is one of them. What was the other one? Amerigo, I think, was another one that he had. Queen did a bunch of others, like what, Wallenstein, that had it and stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's got a cardboard dice tower with this little tray, and the game just looks cool. It's what I would say, like what I would expect from Stefan Feld, and like some of the flavor text as the sun sets. I'm trying to one up you. As the sun sets on the great Mayan temple in the heart of Chichen Itza, beneath the great pyramids and temples, ancient seals that once bound mythical creatures have been broken. Once the siege begins, only the bravest can decide Chichen Itza's fate. Dun, dun, dun. But definitely some Mayan flair to this one. Really excited because, hey, it's Stefan Feld. So, yeah, my number one and two are both Stefan Feld's. Just looking forward to these.
So I was looking, there's what, with Chichen Itza and Valencia, that'll be 10 games in the collection.
Yep.
Did you see what's unconfirmed
Oh
in
no.
this series?
Oh, you're killing me. I hope it's later this Q3 at least. Come on, please.
13 more city games.
What?
13.
Oh,
Yeah, if you're looking at the Stefan Feld City Collection on BGG, they show 13 unconfirmed. So Manila is being a reimplementation of Amerigo.
oh really?
Yonder, possibly a reimplementation of In the Year of the Dragon.
Oh wow. Okay.
Patliputra,
That's
new
a good game,
game,
by the way. Very mean.
In the Year of the Dragon.
Yeah.
So Patliputra, Genenbach, Sevilla, possibly replaced by, they're saying that one's possibly replaced by Valencia. Osaka, Kingston, Berlin, Hong Kong, Urbino, Lyon, Galway, and Bangkok. They're all unconfirmed, but that's the rumor mill there for you, Rob. So,
oh jeez.
Save your pennies.
Yeah. I'm looking here. Yeah, there they are. I like the Marigo. That was if that one comes out, that'd be nice. Manila.
So, all right. So that's our top 10 for 2025. We're most excited to play. Will they disappoint?
Here, I just bought my Stefan Feld City Collection fan micro badge.
There you go.
Why not?
Why not? All right. Well, that's almost a 2-hour show, I think.
Holy smokes, really? Wow.
Yep. Yeah, I got to leave in like 12 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll call it here. So, yeah, so those are the games that we're looking forward to. And I guess we'd love to hear what games you're interested in as well. So shoot us a message either on our website, on the BGG forum, message us directly on BGG, on the Guild, or leave us a voicemail on our website, thisboardgamelife.com. There's a little voicemail widget on the right-hand side. All right. That's it for episode 88. I'm Rob. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you all in 2 weeks.
And I'm Mark. We'll see you at the table. Thanks, everybody.